Good evening, my name is Garrett and welcome to The Last Call. On tonight's verses, we have Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey coming in at a 40% ABV, no age statement, versus Jack Daniel's Tennessee Rye coming in at a 45% ABV, no age statement. So I haven't put these two up against each other yet. I was looking through my list and I'm like, I wonder what the big differences are. Now, we do know mash bills on these, so I'm going to share. The cool thing is we do know mash bills on both of these. Your standard Jack Daniel's comes in with an 80% corn, 12% barley, and 8% rye, whereas your Jack Daniel's rye comes in with a 70% rye, 18% corn, and 12% malted barley. And of course, they both go through their charcoal filtering process to give it that Jack Daniel's smoothness. But I really wanted to put these up against each other. So as always, we're going to be testing these out and we're going to be talking about nose, taste, and finally about pricing. So let's get into things. So as always, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan of Jack Daniel's, I got plenty of reviews around. They'll be linked up above and down below for you, so you can watch those after this video. Okay. And I will be doing some other A/B comparisons with Jack Daniel's products because they are relatively available for most markets. All right. Especially because, I'm really interested because coming at a 45% ABV to not going into this bog standard 40. Wow, that's a color difference. That is super dark compared to standard Jack Daniel's. This is like a light gold kind of pale color. This is a dark color for it. In the bottle, it doesn't really come across that much of a difference, but there's a difference. But let's start for notes on the standard Jack Daniel's. And you know what? I love standard Jack. People want to criticize it, but it's a great accessible bottle for anybody, honestly. And if you give it the respect I think that it's earned, you really can enjoy it. So right away, you get that kind of Jack Daniel's maple to it. Beautiful light spice in there. I love the honey note showing up too. The funny thing is, once you discover that maple, it always shoots up to the forefront for me. Like maple, and it's like, yep, that's the first thing I keep getting every time I go back. A little bit of oak in there as well. You get that nice rice spice in there too. You get a little bit of spice, almost like a dry cinnamon in there. No ABV, nothing harsh. Very simple on the nose, but it's just got that nice classic Jack Daniel's on the nose. I love it. All right, let's go for notes on the rye. Wow, that's actually fairly different. Sweet grains. You definitely get more of that sweet rye note to it. Not quite like rye bread, rye notes, but it's starting to peek through just a little bit. It does have a bit of fruitiness too. You get the apple and banana in there, very lightly. Getting a nice oak layer in there. Definitely don't get the honey sweetness and maybe a little bit of that classic maple. That rye note is actually getting really close to like freshly baked rye bread that still has the seeds in it. It's teetering close, but not quite there. More subtle of a rye. And maybe a little bit of a tea as well. And surprisingly, though it's 45% ABV, it's not really showing up any differently on the nose. So, let's go for taste on the standard Jack Daniel's. Get that nice banana sweetness at the beginning. Beautiful maple going on as well, like a maple candy. Nice little layer of spice. The oak layer is really present here. That is a nice simple sip. And almost like a little bit of a dustiness going on with it too. A little bit of honey in there. It's bringing across that little bit of sweet grain going on. Honestly, that little bit of fruitiness with that sweet grain, that maple. This is classic in a glass, man. That is so approachable and simple. It's effective, it gets the point across, and it's a nice sipping whiskey. You don't have to do any kind of exploration or crazy deepness into it. The flavors it brings across are exactly as you remember them from the first time you've tried Jack Daniel's. And really, again, you got to give it that respect. Honestly, I really enjoy the classic sip of Jack Daniel's. I love the little bit of fruitiness, that bit of spice, and that maple note that's in there really shines well. And it's just a good solid sip. Can't complain. All right, let's go for taste on the rye version. You definitely get more rye on that. Wow. Little sweet grain. You get that sweet rye in there. Oh, man. Banana. There's the banana note. That is fresh, ripened, sliced up thinly. You put it with toast in the morning. Get a slice of rye bread toast. Oh, a little bit of butter on there with your banana. No bad ABV burns or anything like that. Nothing harsh. That's actually really good too. I love the sweetness that comes across in this one. Definitely, they're two different beasts. I love that the taste brings across that nice sweet rye. The nose kind of teases you a little bit with it, but it brings it across in taste. Still not on the quite the level of Angel's Envy rye or anything like that, but very much beautiful banana, sliced up small, rye toast with bread. It's just got this breakfast vibe to it. You don't get much of that tea on the taste, like I was getting that little bit of tea on the nose. Especially here in the finish, you get that nice oak layer with that bit of rye spice sweetness in there. And again, that banana is from beginning to middle to end. That is a gorgeous sip. So if I had to pick one, this is where it's going to come down to, and we'll talk more about it in pricing. If I'm looking for something simple, I don't want to think about it, I just want to grab something and go. Nothing wrong with the classic Jack Daniel's. But if you haven't had the rye yet, spend that little bit more. In some markets, do this. This is great. I don't hear a lot of people talking about this rye. It's fairly accessible, and for the most part, is a pretty good price. And that flavor it brings across, I just feel like it's undermined. So many people are used to the standard Jack Daniel's, but I think this gives it a beautiful twist with that rye in there. All right, let's talk about market price, because we all know market price is market price, and it's always going to vary. So in my market, standard Jack Daniel's, if I'm lucky, I can find it on sale for about $18, $19. Normally, it stands up in the mid-20s, like $23 to $26. The rye over here tends to be about $27 to $30. Usually not any more than that, but it tends to float right around that $27 price point. Now again, if I'm looking for something simple to either throw in Coke or to put on the rocks, standard Jack's not a bad grab. But if I'm looking for something to maybe be a little different, maybe for Manhattans, maybe doing something a little bit different with some cocktails, this has got all your fun characters to it. The bready rye note here is gorgeously done. It's nice and simple and approachable. It's not slappy in the face, spicy rye or medicinal or herbal. It's got that bread note to it that is gorgeously done. Now, if they're on the shelf for me, and this is $23 and this is $27, I'm going to pick up the rye version. As long as it's for a neat pour and something I just want to sip on, this is great. But if I'm looking for a good solid mixer to Coke and I don't really want to think much about it, or again, if you're just now stepping into whiskeys for your first time, there's nothing wrong with classic Jack Daniel's. Don't let anybody tell you there is. This is a great bottle, accessible, and totally worth the money at the right price. But again, for me, I'm really liking the rye. But yeah, there you have it, folks. Jack Daniel's Old No. 7 Tennessee Whiskey versus the Jack Daniel's Tennessee Rye Whiskey. If you have questions about either bottle, let me know down in the comment section below. I will do my best to answer it. And if you have any specific spirits I should put up against each other, also let me know down below. Doing these A/B comparisons help me learn, help you learn, and overall, it's a win-win situation. And as always, may your last drink of the night be the best one.
You know, and I really like it might